future of RJ. I know he does. The kid's only 3. But if he decides to follow in Ryan's footsteps, he's going to make Ryan look like a puppy dog.
He's a cool little guy, and if he's not going to preschool or whatever, he's in the gym with Ryan, If he's got, and you see him running the stairs and doing whatnot and horsing around in the gym with Ryan, and you as a child, I don't think you could really have a better role model than Ryan Ford.
Well, and people will take the other side of that and they'll argue that, saying, "Oh, dad's a professional fighter, yada yada yada." But I'll tell you right now, Ryan's going to keep that little bugger. I mean, I have all respect. He's going to keep that little bugger in line. Like if he steps up, Ryan's going to slap him upside the head, and he'll make sure he's a respectful guy. He's going to make sure he treats the girls right. He's not going to be a bully. He's not going to be a slug. He's going to be brought up well. Ryan's going to teach him a lot of good qualities, and he'll put him in the right path.
But back to that World Series of Fighting 14 there. I was actually cage side for that fight. I had a media pass, and I was actually right in Ryan's corner. Right beside the judge there.
We were real close.
And that was a great fight, and it was unfortunate that Ryan had a broken arm there, because when he dropped Jake with that left, man, you could see the look on Jake's face, because I had a perfect view of Jake's face from there, and people say you don't see fear on a fighter's face. I got news for you people. Yes, you fucking do.
It's good every night. You see it every night.
Yeah.
Guys get hit, and it's a reaction. Fear doesn't mean you're scared.
No, it means you got some common sense.
100%, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's, it's like when you're backstage with guys getting ready, and they should feel all those emotions. No different than a big football game or a big hockey game. You should be excited. You should be scared. You should be nervous. The adrenaline should be good. You should be feeling all of that.
Yeah.
Right? You have to.
Indeed.
And if you don't, it's probably because or if you say you don't, it's probably because you are scared and you don't want to admit that. Like the guys that are comfortable enough and honest enough to admit they're feeling all that, that's the guy. Those are the guys you.
Actually, Cowboy Donald Cowboy Cerrone came out. They had a clip of him a while back. I think it was just before his last fight, talking about being scared.
Great video.
Yeah, that was an awesome video, and it's not something we really get to see a lot of. And I'll tell you one thing about Donald Cerrone. He's one of those guys who doesn't, as much as he has a public persona, he doesn't have a public persona. He is kind of what you see,
100%. And you're seeing a lot of these guys starting to follow in that type of footstep. It's like, fuck it, I'll fight anybody. Benson Henderson, since he lost the belt, I think it's the best thing for him. Yeah, I'll go fight this guy. I'll go fight this guy. I'll go fight King Kong at 300 pounds. I think that some of these guys, the pressure's gone now that they're not the champ anymore.
They can go back to enjoying it again.
Back to enjoying it. And those are the guys I like. It's like, yeah, man, listen. I did that with some of my guys, and I took a lot of critics over, why certain guys that I was looking after took certain fights, and I understand where they're coming from, but kind of talked with Mike Kent a couple of years ago, and it's like, man, what do you want out of this? You got a great paying job, you got an awesome wife, at the time, 1.5 awesome daughters. I'm not even sure if the second daughter was born yet or just born, but no offense, bro, you don't want to make the UFC. UFC is not for you. What do you want out of this? I said, fighting these guys, it's nothing. Don't waste your fucking time. It's going to be nothing for you. What you want, like, you're about my age, right, Chinny? I'm going to be 47 right away. How old are you?
I'm 47. I'll be 48 this year, yeah.
the same party. What I want Mike Kent and Tim Camelli and these guys to have is when they're in their mid-40s and 50s and they're sitting around a campfire with some guys having some beers, telling stories, Mike Kent's going to be able to say, hey man, remember that night I fought Joe fucking Bergson? Remember that night I fought Dave Loazo? And this buddy's going to go, yeah, you got knocked out with 16 fucking elbows in a minute and a half. Not to make fun of it, but he got in there. He got a chance to do it. There's going to be hundreds of MMA guys that are going to say, oh yeah, remember when who was that guy you fought? Oh, I had 15 pro wins. Yeah, but who the fuck were those guys you fought? It's all about memories, man.
Yeah.
You know, I still remember talking about high school football or this or that. You know, we tell stories all the time. You're going to have a chance to tell stories. Hey, remember the day I interviewed John McDessie? Or, you know, it's about memories.
Yeah.
All these guys are worried about what's going to happen, you know, if they fight this guy and they lose this fight. Oh, it's going to put me back. First of all, if you've got a family, you know, wife and kids, and you got a good job, you do not want to make the UFC. You do not want to make the UFC. Okay, if you're willing to live on your friend's couch or live at home, you know, or share a house or an apartment with 3 or 4 guys and low expenses, yeah, you know, train all the time, give it a shot. That's your dream, do it. But do not jeopardize your family. Do not jeopardize a good job to make it to the UFC. Because there was a saying back in the day, you know, save your money, you might go to college. You got bills paid. Well, if you're a fighter, save your money, you might make the fucking UFC.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to get there, and when you do get there, you don't make a lot of money.
No, not unless you're a marquee guy, and it's well, you watched yesterday's show, and we touched on the Reebok deal a little bit, and from the word go, I kind of had some questions on the Reebok deal, and of course, then the pay scale came down here last week. It was leaked, and you know, if you're, like we said last night, if you're Ryan Ford or you're Tim Hague, the UFC really doesn't make any sense at all at this point.
No, it doesn't. And it's tough to tell guys that, right? Like, it's tough to tell a young man, whether he's 20 or 30 or, you know, even 35, that you honestly don't want to do that because it's their dream. Like, I understand that. My biggest highlight in my MMA career was getting a chance to tell Nick Penner, you beat Tim Camelli, you're going to the UFC. Because I got the phone call and we talked, and it was like, I was on the phone with Elkikawa, and he's like, okay, they want Nick. He goes, you got 2 options. He goes, and then, this was on a Monday night, and Nick was supposed to fight Tim on Friday night. So Monday night, and so you got 2 options. You can pull him out of this fight, and he's guaranteed to go in. We can get him on the Washington card, which is 3 weeks ago. We can try and expedite everything. Or he can fight Tim, and if he wins, he's in. So I said, well, we're not pulling out of a fight until we made a commitment to it. And then I said, I'll let him know. So I called a meeting. The next day, I got a hold of Pedro Noda, who trains a lot of the guys that's here for striking. He trains Mitch Clark. He was with Kai for a long time, with Shane Campbell for a while. A lot of the guys that train at Hayabusa or Complete also go and train with Pedro. So Pedro Noda and Kyle Cardinal, because he was looking after Nick's BJJ and everything at the time, and Nick, and we met at Frankie's gym. And I'm in the office with the guys and saying, okay, here's the situation. Nick, you win on Friday, and this was fucking Tuesday. You win on Friday, you're in the UFC. And his chin dropped. And the guys go, are you fucking serious? I said, yeah, I'm dead serious. It's 100%. And they just room kind of went quiet, and I go, what do you think? And Pedro goes, I don't know if I like this pressure on my fighter. And Kyle kind of felt the same way. And I said, guys, I said, I felt that. And I said, and I didn't know what to do, because I didn't sleep that night. I was like, do I tell him or don't I tell him? Like, do I want to? And then I thought to myself, well, if he happens to lose to Tim, and I never told him that, and then I got to say, Nick, you didn't make it. If you would have won, you would have been in. That would have fucking killed him. And then I also thought, well, if he can't handle this pressure, what the fuck's he going to do when he gets it?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I told Pedro and Kyle. I said, if he can't handle this, what the fuck's he going to do when he gets to the UFC? And Pedro goes, good point. We're going to go win the fight. So that was a great fight. So, and I look back at it. I wasn't managing Melly at the time. And I was calling the fight with Dirksen, and I'm knowing what's on the line. So as I'm calling this fight, my heart's going 100 miles an hour, and I'm sure, I listen to it now. I hear my voice is cracking. I'm getting excited over this, and getting excited over that. And even though I try my best to be neutral. I was definitely pro Penner 100%. But that night I'll never fucking forget. And then, so we're at the after party. We set up with Nick, and I got Sergio Maoni, who owned the club at the time, to get us 3 bottles of Dom Perignon. Like, he did the whole thing. Dom Perignon that night at the after party. Camelli came, and because he was, he was there, and we had a great time. And I talked to Milky that night, and he was like, yeah, he's in. They were, apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently he says Joe Silva was actually watching the fight. And he said, and what they also told us was, who's that Camelli guy? Because he looked really good too. And so it was good. That night was awesome. So you never want to take, getting back to the subject, you never want to take that away from guys, because it is a dream. But I know what it did to Nick, and I know how much, basically now you make it, you're dedicating your life to it, because you're gonna, all of a sudden you have to train more, and it's full time, and if you want to win, so now you're not